Silicon Valley is currently building the most expensive infrastructure in human history. Yet, if you look at their balance sheets, they are building it like they are broke. They are creating a $1 trillion future on a financial foundation that barely shows up on their own books. Take Meta for example. Last year, they started building a massive $27 billion AI data center campus in Louisiana. Simple question, who paid for it? You'd think a company like Meta would just use their own cash or take out a massive corporate loan. But their balance sheet does not reflect the kind of construction debt you'd expect for a company spending hundreds of billions on a physical infrastructure. That's because Meta didn't fund the entire project with the traditional corporate loan. And they are not the only ones. Oracle is doing something similar for a massive new project in Texas. Across the board, the biggest tech companies in the world are finding ways to fund the AI boom without absorbing the heavy industrial debt you would expect. We have always been told that this revolution is being bankrolled by the infinite wealth of Silicon Valley. But if the tech giants aren't actually putting up the majority of the money, who is? And if something goes wrong, who ends up holding the bag? The short answer is Wall Street. But to understand how the risks actually get passed to them, you have to follow the money. Let's go back to that Louisiana site. Instead of taking out $27 billion loan in its own name, Meta forms a brand new, separate company built just for this one project. Meta puts in about 20% of the cash, but the remaining 80%? That money is borrowed by a new company directly from investment firms, pension funds, and life insurance companies. And Wall Street calls this strategy a project financing. Once it's funded, Meta turns around and signs a long-term lease to rent the facility back. And here is a clever maneuver. Because the company legally owns the project, the construction loan stays with that company, not Meta. On paper, Meta is not carrying a giant construction loan. On paper, they just sign a lease. Meta gets 100% of the computing power while keeping the heavy debt off their primary books. Which brings us back to our question. If investment firms are supplying 80% of the cash to build these facilities, why would anyone lend tens of billions of dollars to a company that exists just for one project? But Wall Street is not lending this money blindly. Before a single shovel hits the dirt, the tech giants sign a very specific kind of contract. They agree to pay the rent every single month for the next 10 to 20 years. It does not matter if the facility is running at full capacity or if AI market crashes and the building sits completely empty, the rent must be paid. But lenders know that AI hardware evolves very quickly. A data center financed today could need major upgrades long before the loan is repaid. So how do you issue 20-year loan for a building filled with hardware that might need replacing in 3 years? That's why the contract includes another layer of protection. If the project loses far more value than expected before the loan is paid off, the tech company is legally required to step in. Meta may have to cover part of the loss from its own cash. The risk didn't disappear. It was divided between the lenders and the tech company. This entire system works only if the data center continue creating enough value to justify their enormous cost. But what happens if they don't? If they don't, the tech giants take a hit. But remember, the tech giants only put up a fraction of money to build these facilities. So what happens to the rest of the debt? To find out, you have to look at the investment firms themselves. These firms aren't just lending their own money. They manage money for other people. When an investment firm writes a $27 billion check for a data center, much of that money ultimately comes from institutional investors. So, where does their money actually come from? It comes from life insurance policies, public pension funds, university endowments, and sovereign wealth funds, which lead us to the ultimate reality of AI boom. If the AI market crashes, or if these facilities become obsolete before they are paid off, the separate project company goes bankrupt. The lenders and the investors begin absorbing the losses. The AI boom isn't just being financed by tech companies anymore. The risks never disappeared, it simply moved from Silicon Valley into the global financial system. The next time you see $30 billion AI data center announced, don't just ask who built it, ask who paid for it.